Stop talking to the kids, Coco.
I know, but I answered anyway.
Okay.
We're good, Katie. We're so excited for the story.
Oh, Coco, the kid's actually answering.
And we love Coco the best.
Huh? That doesn't sound right.
He's the most Coco-amazing bird in the whole world, and the galaxy, and the universe. And...
Hey, that'll do, Coco. That'll do.
Oh, Katie, those kids sound pretty excited, don't they? Anyway.
Yep. Let's go tell a story.
Yeah.
Come and play with Katie and Coco. That's the way. Get ready, let's go. Flying through the air with Coco, telling stories with Katie. You and I together, meeting my friends that help us every day. Katie and Coco, play and sing, pray and bring. You and I, we do our thing as Katie and Coco.
Put your hand up if you've ever felt left out. You've never felt left out, Coco?
Yeah, I have heaps of times, like right now.
What? Why?
I don't have any hands, Katie, so how can I put them up?
Oh, sorry, Coco. Put your hands or wings up if you've ever felt left out.
Every year there's a colourful bird festival, but all those pesky rainbow lorikeets and galahs and birds and blah blah blah. No one cares. They wouldn't let cockatoos come along because apparently a yellow crest isn't colourful enough. So we have to stay away with the magpies and crows. Can you imagine? Not an insult.
Oh, it's okay, Coco. Just take deep breaths. Deep breaths, all right? In, out. In, out. Feeling any better?
A bit. You better start the story to distract me.
Well, you know, Coco, our friend today, St. Martin de Porres, felt left out a lot too.
Really? How come?
He lived in Peru, which is in South America, about 500 years ago. And even though his dad was a Spanish gentleman, his mum was a freed African slave. So just because he was of mixed race and had dark skin, and also because he was the son of a former slave, Martin was excluded by different people throughout his whole life.
Why, oh, why are there so many coconut people in the world?
It didn't help when his dad left when he was just a kid, leaving his mum to raise him and his sister on her own. Dads are pretty important, aren't they, kids? You should thank God for giving you such amazing people to look after you. When Martin's dad left, his mum was so poor that he had to leave school after only 2 years to work as a barber.
Oh, Martin. What's a blah blah, Katie?
Someone who cuts hair. But in Martin's time, barbers where he lived were also a type of doctor. So he had to help sick people too.
That's a lot of work. Did he have to do that for the rest of his life?
Maybe he would have, if God hadn't called him somewhere else.
Where did God call him?
To a monastery. Martin wanted to enter religious life and become a Dominican brother, giving the rest of his life to God.
Ah, good. I guess no one would make him feel left out being different in religious life, right?
Wrong, sadly. Back then, even some people in religious life went along with the culture of the time and didn't welcome people of different races like Martin the way they should have. There was a law which said that all descendants of Africans or Native Americans weren't allowed to become full members of religious orders.
So was Martin allowed to join the Dominicans after all then?
He was determined to enter. So he worked his way up from being a volunteer who did the jobs no one else wanted to do in the monastery to being a servant boy for them when he was 15. And and then to being the officer in charge of giving money to the poor.
Right. So he worked for them, but he wasn't actually a member.
No, he wasn't one of the brothers, but Martin was just happy that he could live in the community and even wear the Dominican robes, even if they were old servant ones. Although he wished he could make vows to stay in the monastery and participate in religious life, Martin did not expect he would ever be able to do so. He got enough reminders of that every day when people made fun of him and disrespected him because of his race.
He certainly had a lot to offer up to God. If I were him, I would have gotten sick of working and being treated badly after the first week and left. He must have really wanted to become a religious.
It was all he wanted, Coco. And if he had to put up with mean people every day like Jesus did during his passion on the cross, then Martin was prepared to endure it. You can imagine his surprise and delight then, when after 8 years of service in the monastery, the prior, Juan de Lorenzana, decided to ignore the law against people of mixed race and allow Martin to take religious vows as a third-order Dominican.
Yay! God finally answered Martin's prayers after 8 years. God must have been very impressed with Martin's patience.
Even I'm very impressed by Martin's patience. Is there anything you kids would wait months or even years for? Maybe when you get older, you might find something you want to do so much that you would wait years for. But have you ever really wanted something in particular? A toy, a pet, a special food, a special holiday that you begged your parents for ages? Maybe you're still begging them even now. Well, imagine how happy you are when you finally get what you've been asking for, and you might understand a little bit of the joy Martin felt when he was allowed to take his first religious vows.
All right, Coco amazing! Did anyone still make fun of him?
Unfortunately, there was no escaping that. There weren't many who were as open-minded as the prior Lorenzana, and Martin was called all sorts of nasty names for being of mixed race and for being a descendant of slaves. He didn't have to look far for things to offer up for Jesus, did he?
No, indeed, the sacrifices back to it came to him.
Nevertheless, God continued to work to reward our special friend for his humility. When he was 24, Martin became a proper Dominican brother whose main focus was work, and then 10 years later, he was put in charge of the infirmary to take care of the sick.
I bet he did that well. You said he had to work as a doctor when he was a barber, right?
Good remembering, Coco. Yep, Martin had lots of experience tending to sick people, and he hadn't stopped since he had first come to work at the monastery. Now, it became his daily duty, and he soon became known not only for his extraordinary skills in healing, but also for his gentleness and generosity.
I bet he didn't exclude anyone who needed medical care. I knew what that felt like, and he wouldn't have treated anyone else the way others treated him, would he?
Certainly not, Coco. That was one of the reasons he began to be praised by others. He didn't care whether a person was African, Native American, Spanish, mixed race, free, slave, rich, poor, diseased, or dirty. They were all God's children, and Martin treated them with the love they deserved.
If only everyone else followed his example and treated others like he did.
That would be good, wouldn't it? God was certainly very pleased with our friend, and Martin allowed God to work miracles through him.
Miracles? Really? Like what? Like what?
Well, although Martin had some medical training and experience, he certainly didn't study to have a doctor's degree like our doctors today. Nevertheless, whenever he was with a patient, he always knew exactly what medicine or treatment they needed to get better. Sometimes when he was visiting patients without knowing the slightest thing about what their sickness was, he still arrived at their sides with the very things he needed to treat their illness.
Wow, That's a nice shortcut to having to study at university for years and years to become a doctor.
Yep, but that wasn't all. At certain times, he didn't need to give his patients any treatment at all.
What? But how did he help them then?
He simply came to see them and God cured them instantly.
Oh, cool! What else did he do, Katie?
You'll like this one. When he spoke with animals, they understood him and even obeyed him. When the monastery was infested by rats, for example, Martin simply had a chat with the rats and made a deal with them that if he brought them food once a day, they would stay out of the monastery. And the rats never entered the monastery again. Or when some brothers brought 2 bulls to the monastery and the bulls were fighting, Martin took the matter into his hands, asking the older bull to let the younger bull eat first, like the monks did in the monastery.
Feathers and leaves! Animals listen more to him than they do me! And I'm an animal myself! Did God do anything else for him?
God often allowed Martin to be in 2 places at once.
What?
Martin never travelled outside of Peru during his life. At least, not the way normal people travel. He was seen in Mexico, Africa, France, and even China among the Dominicans there and tending to the sick. But when people who recognized him in those places went to find him at the nearby Dominican monastery, they were told that Martin had never been there.
Wow! Wow, Martin just couldn't be stopped from having sick people, couldn't he?
Not even locked doors could stop him. At one point in his hometown of Lima, a certain sickness was spreading around, and when some of his brothers became sick, they were locked away in a separate area of the monastery. That didn't bother Martin. He passed straight through the locked doors to care for his sick brothers.
Awesome, Katie! Mine was basically like a superhero!
Well, he might have done some super things, but Martin knew that it was God who gave him such special gifts, and he could do nothing on his own. And as for his superiors in the monastery, they didn't forget that Martin had certain rules to follow. Like when he brought a sick man into his own room to care for him, as there was nowhere else to take him.
Was he not allowed to bring the sick into his room?
Brother Martin, you have not obeyed our order's rules and have allowed a stranger into your own cell.
Yep, I guess he wasn't allowed to take the sick into his room.
Forgive my error, and please instruct me, for I did not know that the rule of obedience was more important than that of charity.
Did his superior let him care for the sick man then?
Yes. He was given permission to do all he could to serve the poor and the sick. He even founded an orphanage for abandoned children and slaves, as well as a school. Through Martin, God's love was spread far and wide. And when our friend finally died after suffering from a terrible sickness for a whole year, even the ones who had ridiculed him recognized that a great man had been called home to God.
I wish God's love could be shown through me as much as it will through Martin.
Me too. Let's ask St. Martin for some help. Dear St. Martin de Porres, thank you for not letting your suffering stop you from answering God's call to religious life. Help us to treat everyone with love and never to make fun of or exclude others. Please pray for all those who care for the poor and sick, and for all those who still experience unkindness because of their race.
Winnie! I'm so winning! I'm so winning! And pretty and bright!
Oh, what does that sound?
That, Katie, is the sound of a happy man!
Really? I'd hate to hear a sad bird then.
Cheers, Katie!
So you think you're witty, huh?
Yeah,
And pretty?
that one's pretty obvious.
And bright?
Brighter than most birds I know.
I can be open or closed. I can reveal the truth or hide it. I'm almost always welcome and can spring up unannounced. Laughter comes after me. What am I?
Ah!
Come on, Mr. Witty and Pretty and Bright. Let's see if you really are witty and pretty and bright.
Let me think.
All right. So what's something that can be big and small?
A lie. Yeah,
A what?
a lie. Like a lying.
Let's go through it, shall we? So it can be
Yeah.
open or closed,
Yeah,
big or small.
yeah,
It can reveal the truth or hide it.
yeah.
It can spring up unannounced, so it can come unexpectedly out of surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone has one, but not everyone shares. And laughter comes after me. What happens when we laugh?
A joke. You tell a joke before you laugh.
Yeah, that's true. What happens on our face before we laugh?
We smile?
Yeah,
A smile?
yeah.
Yeah. Witty. I'm so witty. I'm so witty. Witty and bright.
Feathers and leaves. Imagine if Martin went around singing like that. Coco's still got a lot to learn, hasn't he, kids?
And bright.
Let's go do some craft.
Craft.
And no more singing.
But so good.
Save it for your friends in the bush.
But
Come on, Coco, craft time.
coming.
Hello, we're back at craft. Can you believe it, Coco? We're back at craft. How exciting.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be making a handshake. I know. How crazy did that sound?
Handshake.
Well, do you remember how St. Martin de Porres just loved helping everybody and he didn't care if he was excluded by some people? He extended his help to everyone. And so, as a reminder of that, we're going to make a handshake so that we can be reminded to be friendly with others and that St. Martin is our friend as well. And so, let's get started. What we need, I've got 2 sheets of felt material. You can use any soft material, and the colours, I've chosen yellow and green. You can have any colour you like. And I've got a stapler, a pencil, and some scissors. Let's go, shall we, Coco?
Yes, Katie.
Good idea. Okay, so first of all, we need to start with a hand outline. So get one of your hands, get a pencil, place it on top, and you're just going to do a trace around your hand. All right, there's a hand.
Yeah.
Now we need to cut it out so we can shake it.
Yeah, I think so, Katie.
Here we go. There's our hand, ready to shake.
Yes, please.
It looks good already, don't you think? Nice and friendly. Now we just need to make the arm longer, don't we? Okay, so that's what we're going to use the green felt for, because it doesn't matter what color it is, we can just make it a nice. So put it on the right side, and you can use your arm to trace down the rest. Okay, let's cut along that line. There we go. We're going to staple that onto our hand. It wouldn't be a handshake without a nice long staple it together. One there, one there.
Give me you too.
One on this side, down here. Staple that together. And here. here as well. And there we go. There's our nice long arm with a hand.
Yeah.
We can shake. You can give it to other people to shake as well. Here you go, Coco. You can shake the hand again. Oh, nice to meet you, Coco. Very good.
Shake.
And you kids can shake it too. Very nice to meet you, kids. And you can extend it to all the different people. And if you feel lonely, you can even give it a handshake yourself.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? A nice colourful arm with a hand on the end to shake it. Hey kids! If you'd like extra instructions on how to make this awesome handshake, you can find it at swpals.org. And Coco and I would love to see you making your very own handshakes so you can extend a friendly hand out to everyone you meet as well.
Have fun, kids.
Have fun! Well, Coco, how does it feel to be giving your first handshake ever in your whole life?
Good, I guess. It might be a bit better if I felt it, though.
Oh, maybe we should try switching it around. Here. There you go. Now try. Is that better?
Yeah, but this is what I normally do when I give you a handshake.
Oh, you're right. Oh, well. I guess that's the best we're going to get, I guess. Lucky the kids have hands.
Yeah, lucky.
Why are you so upset? I think you're lucky to have wings. People can't fly with their hands or arms.
But they can give a handshake.
Yeah, but come on, Coco. Handshakes or flying? What are you going to choose?
Yeah, you're right. Flying is good, but still.
You're coconuts, Coco.
I know. And I'm glad.
You know what? I agree. It's fun to be crazy. High five. Let's not get started on high fives, shall we? I think it's time to go.
Can I wave goodbye to the kids with the handshake hand?
Okay, here you go. See you next time, kids.
See you next time, kids.
St. Martin de Porres, help us love God more.
Come and play.
Play with Katie and Coco.
That's the way.
Get ready, let's go.
Flying through the air with Coco.
Telling stories with Katie.
You and I together, meeting my friends. Friends that help us every day.
Katie and Coco.
That help us every day.
Katie and Coco. Play and sing.
Pray and bring you and I, we do our thing. It's Katie and Coco.
Are you searching for answers? Discover your true identity. Stay tuned to Shalom World.